one of the experience I have with you here in global. But I also love when I'm back in Brazil for vacation to speak for students, etc. Because yeah, in this way we can do a better work in general. We can
100%.
develop people, we can develop ourselves. The young generations, they are brilliant. They have completely different ideas, and it's really important to be connected because I'm sure that the
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Sporting Global podcast. And today I'm here with João Diago. And João, how are you? How's life these days?
yeah, hey guys, hello everyone. I'm good. I hope you are also good, Ole, and all the guys here watching us.
Absolutely.
Everything is absolutely good right now.
Well, it's a pleasure having you here, and it's gonna be fun just talking a little bit about your experience in the sport industry and a little bit about your journey, of course, some of the challenges you've been facing, and then again, like to sort of like wrap up the episodes. We always like to share some tips, some good insights that will help these young students and sport professionals having I guess in a sense a easier way into the sport industry, because you know how hard it is to enter this football industry, the sport industry, and all the challenges that comes with it. But it's a lot of passion, a lot of excitement, and we're excited to have you here. So it's going to be a fun talk. And for those of you that are tuning in, make sure to like the video and subscribe as well if you haven't already, and check out sportingglobal.com to sign up for a free account where you can network, find relevant opportunities, and of course, learn from some of the best programs in the world. So check that out. And Jao, I wanted to just start a little bit about how did your journey in the sport industry begin? And I know you were like a previous football player, like professional, and then going into like the sport professional role. Just take a little bit through like how it all started, the journey.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if I remember. I'm getting old. No, I'm kidding. In terms of yeah, this from a football player to a sport professional career, let's say I played until I was around 21,
Right.
but a little bit before that time, my family and I, of course, especially thinking me, thinking myself, I realized I would not be a top player.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the possibility of achieve uh, around 30, 35 years old without a real career, I mean, financially speaking, was real.
Mm.
And then at that time, I decided to study and get involved in football world in terms of career management and marketing management
Right.
because it was something that I felt at that time that I would like, and it would be an opportunity to create my career with full of love.
Right.
And in another words, that was my goal at that time. And then I studied hard to be approved on the Universidade de São Paulo. It's a public university in Brazil, in São Paulo.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the Bachelor of Sport course. It,
Nice.
it was a 4-year course,
Yeah.
and there I was able to, yeah, to let's say to really start my professional path through studies, building relationships,
Mm.
starting some initial jobs at that time. Some of them with no money, but I could gain experience. And yeah, in 2010, I had the first real opportunity to be part of a global company that was Puma in Brazil. And from there, I developed myself and became a deep, let's say, a deep knower in the sports goods and
Right.
sports branding market area.
That's great. And I mean, I wanted to just as well sort of like move forward to, your current role. So obviously now you're the senior global player manager for Adidas, like HQ. And I guess like if you wanted to talk a little bit about like, well, what are some of your key, responsibilities and tasks in that kind of role?
Yeah, there are many,
Can
many,
imagine.
many, many. Yeah,
It's
at
just
this point, yeah, honestly, at this point, we would have more than a month of daily conversation, at least
it's
80 hours a
try to get
day,
it in like 10
to
minutes.
describe and detail all the strategic and operational responsibility of a senior global player manager in a brand.
Yeah.
But I will summarize here.
Mhm.
I would say that the most important points they are, for example, to secure football players' portfolio,
Mhm.
uh, finding, signing, and searching the next football icons in the world,
Right.
including, for example, scouting. That is something that for people who are studying right now, scouting, we say that they are the young players in the world, since I don't know, sometimes 10, 11, 13 years old,
Yeah.
until they achieve the professional, the senior squad of a team. And
Right.
I'm here talking only about the individuals, football players that are my expertise.
Mhm.
Uh, a second point would be the implementation of football, uh, yeah, the global football player and scout management strategy.
Right.
As a global team, we have a strategy to apply all over the world,
Mhm.
and we need to, let's say, to think about this strategy, to be part of the strategy, to decide what you're gonna do in the next year or in the next few years,
Right.
and of course also implement and execute this demand, let's say. But also, one of the responsibilities is to define, for example, strategic planning in terms of budget and P&L,
Mhm.
establish and extend network in football world that with scouts, coaches, regional advisors, club directors, all the football world involving the direct uh, football. I mean, in terms of match field, what it means,
Right.
coaches, physiotherapists, etc. But also the indirect part of the football that work behind the scenes. I would say we will talk a little bit later about it.
Right.
On my opinion, this is the most specific point.
Mhm.
And other points like negotiation. Through the years, you can become an expert in negotiation in this area because we negotiate a lot every day, every time. But it's not different because with your kids or your family, you also negotiate every day.
Right.
It's only in terms of yeah, this is my professional, and the other part is my home.
Yeah.
It's my personal life. And yeah, activations in terms of player activation, social media plan implementation,
Mhm.
and one last point I would say it would be the implementation of marketing strategies and
Right.
portfolio building at local market level.
Mhm.
Considering I'm here sitting in a global position,
Right.
I have a direct connection with the local markets. I have some territories as my responsibility, but let's say all over the world I have connections, and we have a plan. We develop it, we collaborate to develop this the strategy and implement and succeed.
Right. And I think like, just listening here as well, it looks like, from a standpoint of kind of like a young student that, maybe thinking like, oh, what kind of skills do I need to kind of like, be in a similar position one day. Like what I'm hearing is kind of like, scouting, analytics, sort of like, I guess strategies kind of like comes over time, but like at least like getting that scouting analytical, experience early, it would be, a huge asset in this sort of role and working with
Yeah.
like a brand like Adidas or something like that, and in this sort of sort of space. If I'm not, if I'm not completely wrong here, but so that's definitely something to keep in mind. And I guess like just going a little bit into building your path in the football business industry, and what were some of the, I guess, key challenges you had to face going in there? Because it's it's a very compact industry. It's very attractive, of course, as well, and a lot of people fighting for the same kind of spaces and getting the attention. Like, what were some of the challenges that you were facing going in there?
Yes, as you said, there are many opportunities. There are many specific fields. When you talk about football world, you can go to the performance area. That I mean, you will work as a trainer, as a coach, as a physiotherapist. You work in a club, professional level, youth level, etc. But you also have all these opportunities of analytics.
Hmm.
That's out of the field, and the management. We do not play, but we we, we support to build lovely and tremendous spectacles in terms of entertainment and etc.
Right.
In this case, yeah, the key challenge I had to face, I would say, progress. Yeah, progress in the face of difficulties. I mean, what is it? You have the first opportunity when you are young. This is not easy, I know. Uh, Being able to show your work or your willingness to work, to create an active network of contacts, to progress over the early years. I think this is the main challenge that everyone will face
Hmm.
when they are young,
Right.
because you are starting, you are young and you need to start, and you need to persist, you need to progress over the early years.
Yeah. No, it makes total sense, and I guess being that young, and I guess like just from in a sense moving on to a little bit of like the challenge of you know building a strong network or having that because obviously going into the industry, whether you're young or like even as a football player, you're kind of like having that strong kind of like network in the space is like extremely important. So how did you sort of like build your connections in football, and I guess like what tips would you give to other athletes and football players in similar shoes that are okay,
Yeah.
I won't become the best, and I maybe should start kind of like working towards I want to work in the football industry nonetheless. What kind of steps should I take?
Yeah, let me just, before I answer a question, let me just say something that is really important. For example, when I decided to stop to play football,
Mhm.
of course, I had connections with the football world at that time,
Right.
but my perspective was as a football player.
Hmm. Right.
And when I moved to let's say, to the college and study area, and this was the first step to become a real professional out of the field, to work with management career, or yeah, work in a brand like Adidas nowadays. On the first moment, I thought, okay, I know the word, I know the football word, but it's completely different. It's a new career.
Hmm.
In 1 year, I realized that no, I'm wrong. When you stop to to play football and you need to deal with uh, the same club director as I was playing before, it's completely different perspective in
Right.
terms of respect, in terms of attention, in terms of intention, what they want to do, if they will if they will listen you or not, etc. And you need to be prepared because you will learn a lot.
Hmm.
And yeah, I would say that makes sense, and there is connection between your question, because as early as you can start, even if you don't know where you go, where do you want to go, or where the ways will bring you,
Right.
you just need to start, you
Yeah.
know. And
100%.
in this case, now answering your question specifically, I remember when I moved to the university area.
Hmm.
It was the first step after I stopped playing football.
Yeah.
I would say that participating in specific events like sports seminars with athletes, former athletes, journalists, media communicators, managers, director, agents, etc., etc., is the I don't know if it's the most important point, but for sure it's one of them because you can learn what they do, how they do, what they believe, and how they see the football at that time, and how they see the football in the future, what they can do to do it better, or sometimes not.
Right.
They are there only to work, and but they don't realize that yes, we are responsible and we are capable to make it better
Hmm.
for the next generations, let's say. And yeah, this is the most important because on the other hand, you are learning, but you are also starting to create your own connection with the football world.
Yeah.
And the tip I would give is never give up. You know, never give up on your dreams because it's all yeah, it's all up to you.
Right.
No one will do it for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, do insist and persist because it's a lovely way, but the beginning is not easy.
Right, and I think you're touching upon something really important, though, which obviously is being mentioned a lot in I guess in a sense for students that are going into sports, maybe not as athletes, but sort of like more as they're going right into the whole sport professional field. And the first thing people kind of like tell you is like, stop thinking as a fan. You're not a fan anymore, you're a sport professional, right?
Yeah,
Now it
yeah,
goes the same way, right? It's like, stop thinking as an athlete. You're not an athlete anymore, you're a
yeah. That's true.
sport professional. So
Change your mind.
having that sort of like realization, it seems like it's like, okay, that's the first step.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Let's say changing the world. It is. You just need to have a growth mindset every day.
Mm,
You know, you just need to learn, to pay attention and learn and support and receive the support of others.
right. No, 100%. And if you do like that switch and say like, okay, yeah, I'm not representing this as an athlete anymore. I'm a sport professional, or I'm not a fan
Yeah,
anymore. Now I'm a sport professional. Then you build that credibility. You get that critical thinking. You start asking some questions that is necessary in order to improve and get that
yeah,
having that growth mindset as you were talking about as well. And obviously now sitting with over 15 years of experience in the
yeah.
industry.
But one extra point here. Even for example, Ole, even if you can see where the way where it will take you,
Hmm.
keep your dream focused and execute it as we were talking with organization, humble, wisdom, and resilience.
Yeah.
Want to meet people, be available to yeah to help evolve your business and in your environment, the market you've chosen to work.
Right. No, it's a great point, and I think like just having that, staying hungry,
Yeah,
after it, and as you were saying, like growth mindset, being following your goal and understanding that it takes time, to
yeah, it takes time. I remember the first 3 years I decided to do.
yeah.
I've I've worked in a company that they didn't pay me salary,
All right.
only transportation and meal, etc. And I was there almost every day.
Yeah.
The day I did the day that time when I didn't have because my college was all day long course, you know.
Mhm.
But some days I didn't have a class, and I was there at the company learning, working, etc. Just to be there.
Right. No, and this is an important part of like just the work that I'm being willing to put down, in order to make it work, and understanding that whether you're an athlete or a student, like coming out of school, in that sense, it's just like, oh, you're not going to be the senior global player manager of Adidas right away.
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
going to take many years to reach that, but if you work hard, you're putting down the effort and the value, you can reach whatever goal you want, but it takes time, and people need to realize that.
Yeah, that's true.
And so obviously, with having, vast experience, from the industry now, like working, for Puma, Adidas now, of course, what kind of, key lessons have you learned about the industry throughout your time so far?
This is a very good question. Yeah, I feel I'm learning every day, in every negotiation, in every activation we have, in every decision we need to do.
Hmm.
I believe the most important point here for it doesn't matter if you are starting your way in this let's say the sports business world or not,
Yeah.
but the most important point here is to always do an intrinsic analysis if you are developing yourself and others, with a growth mindset attitude, as I said.
Mm.
If I can say a lesson, it would be the routine of make mistakes. Yes, you can do and you must do that because it's important to learn. But you need to learn and evolve from them. Never be afraid. Huh? It's yeah, I think it's the key lessons. Every day you have a lesson.
Right.
When you need to negotiate with a player, when you need to with a professional player, with an important player, you need to understand their thoughts, their feelings, sometimes their family, their culture that is completely different for yours, their background, etc. And it's the same when you are with a young kid of 11 years old that you have, yeah, most of the times connection with parents. It's the same. You need to understand, to learn, to be open, to do something good, to help the life of these people to become a top star in the near future.
Yeah. No, it
The
makes.
gr- the the growth mindset, and I didn't know about that. I need to study hard what is growth mindset and to change my sometimes my perspective, and it's really important to develop.
So if there's one key take people should take from this podcast, it's developing your growth mindset, understand.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah, because I could say, yeah, a key lesson. Let's go to seminars and meet a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah, okay, you will learn something,
Yeah.
but you cannot forget the way to improve in your business, to do something, to be part of a company. It doesn't matter if it's a small, medium, or big company, and
Mhm.
keep going. Okay, keep going, keep helping, keep becoming an expert on that,
Yeah.
and it's all about the mindset.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, like, it goes back to what you were saying as well, like, just having that switch of, like, who are you representing now? Like,
Mm,
you're not an athlete anymore. You're not a student anymore. Now you're a sport or like a fan. You're a sport professional, or you're a student like of the game or like of the industry. So you have to think differently. You have to, again, that just switch of mindset in a sense of understanding
yeah, that's true.
have a different angle in anymore. You can't look at it as a fan. And we had another podcast just recorded the other day too with a former Real Madrid executive, and it was talking about like stop thinking as a fan. Just you're a professional now. You have to ask the critical questions.
Yeah.
You have to be critical about the things that are coming up. If not, you're not being able to again like having that mindset or the growth to be able to deliver value and performing in the industry as you want. So it makes total sense. And I wanted to just we talked a lot about growth mindset, just staying hungry, being sort of like more out there and being proactive. And I guess like from more of a student perspective, and I guess like those that maybe have like zero experience at all, maybe like it's not even players, like not even like just like a fan of the game, like kind of like coming in like, okay, I'm doing my education, like I want to get in, like what kind of tips would you kind of like give them that are sort of like almost starting at a blank page, in a sense?
Yeah, let me let me take a ride on what you said,
Yeah.
uh, because it's this way to stop acting and thinking as an athlete. It's really important, and I would say that it's really important because most of us that decided to work in football in
Mhm.
the past we tried to be an athlete,
Right. Right.
and we performed as an athlete at least for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, depends on when you begin, when you began, and it's really difficult because you feel as an athlete.
Mm.
And oh, I have connections, I have friends, and now I can do everything. No, that's not true. I remember the last club I played, and immediately after I moved to a company, small company, but we decided to open a management career,
Mm.
and we signed a player to represent him, and he was playing at this club. And I would say between I stopped and my first meeting with this club director, it was 2 months. Yeah, the difference between that it was 3 months. And when I was there for the first meeting, it was a at that time a medium club. Nowadays, unfortunately, it's a small club in
Yep.
Brazil.
Yep.
And the same director that was me with me every day, playing, speaking, having funny conversations, working hard, having difficult conversations. When I was there to talk about this player contract, he told me, "Okay, now that you tend, you are not a football player anymore. I need to say you something. You are one. We are. You are one more for us to attend, to listen, etc. But don't think you will receive any kind of special treatment because you played here."
Mm.
It was a shock for me. I said,
All
"Oh
right.
my goodness,
Yeah.
what I need to do because I'm not important anymore for these guys."
Good eye opener.
Yeah, and it was really really interesting this first moment. And yeah, talking about the student, you said that to look into break into the sport industry. Yeah, based on this, what I have said, I would say to the beginning will not be easy, but you need to demonstrate your determination, your willingness to be everywhere, to be yeah, and involved by learning, gaining experience, to study sports if you want performance or if you want performance area, go deep into it.
Yeah.
If you want the management area, do the same because there are a lot of specifics area. Even if you go to management area, you can have huge field of work inside this. The same in performance area. Participate in sports seminars, as I said, with athletes, former athletes, agents, etc. Invest on you. This is not this is not waste of money and time.
Right.
It's for you. Your dedication is the most important way for you to reap good results in the future.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect way to wrap up this podcast and tips with as well, and just you know think about it as an investment. It's for you,
Yeah.
and putting down the effort and stay hungry and learning from the industry, and understand that things takes time, and you can of course like one day end up working in maybe Adidas, HQ, San João, and who knows, but you gotta stay hungry and you gotta work yourself, and it's not just gonna happen overnight, and that's important for people to know, and yeah, if you've been in the podcast all the way to here, just make sure to comment Adidas below so we know
Yeah.
you seen this, and then yeah, I mean like Joe, like I don't know if you have like any final remarks, but if yeah.
No, just for instance, exactly what you said. I remember when I was there at the beginning studying, there were 50 uh, colleagues in the room at the university,
Right.
and most of them nowadays are not working in the football industry or sports industry. But why? Because they give up.
Mm.
They give up during the way on the beginning, and I said no. I know it's difficult. I know I'm not receiving any money. But on the other hand, I was also seeing people changing their ways.
Mm.
I mean, I have less competition in this case. If they decided to move,
Yeah.
it's one more positive thing for me to go direct to the point to what I want.
That's it's a great point. You gotta like look at it on the bright side. You know, it's like
Yeah, that's true.
it's hard, but if you stay the course, you know, like just more and more people will just fade off, and you have a better chance of success.
No,
So
yeah, that's true.
I
That's
get
true. Yeah, but yeah, honestly, it's if I could, I would do everything again because yeah, I love this and
yeah,
I learned a lot of things during the since I begin until nowadays. It's more than 15 years old, and especially I learned this growth mindset that helped me a lot every day to think about my job, to think about my life, my personal life, to find the balance that's really important between those. And yeah, this is never give up. Let's go because it's a huge and fantastic area to work.
absolutely. It's a blessing, you know, to be part of it, and we're extremely lucky to work with our passion and this industry that is, you know, it's unique in many ways. So you know, of course it takes time, and then it's usually, you know, a challenging journey, but everything worth having, you know, takes time. It's
Yeah,
not easy, you know, and that's why most people don't do it. But it's a great industry, and I'm super happy that, you know, we had the opportunity to have a talk, Jao, about your experience. And as always, you know, thank you so much for taking the time of your day and sharing your knowledge and insights with us and with your with our audience. And yeah, I don't know if you're aware, but we have like this um, kind of like a podcast tradition where we're teaching everyone a little bit Norwegian, you know, just a little bit. So with every video we do, we always finish with "Vi snakkes," which means "see you later" in Norwegian. So that's what you gotta say.
V is not.
Yeah,
Repeat
"Vi
it again, please.
snakkes."
Sorry,
"Vi snakkes."
V Knockers.
There you go. You know, great job. You're practicing.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Ole. Thank you to be part of it. It's amazing. Yeah, it's one of the, ex- the experience I have with you here in Global. But I also love when I'm back in Brazil for vacation to speak for students, etc. Because yeah, in this way we can do a better work in general. We can
100%.
develop people. We can develop ourselves. The young generations, they are brilliant. They have completely different ideas, and it's really important to be connected because I'm sure that the the sports world in the future and the world in general will be much better for all of us. Thank you for the opportunity. It's a real pleasure to be here to talking about my experience, my responsibility. And of course, if you receive any kind of questions from your team, etc., let me know because it's a pleasure to reply you and support.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for the time, Jao, and we'll talk very soon.